All right, I got the pointer working again. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer, you know. You got to, what do they say, adapt and overcome? Am I frustrated? Yes. Did I lose that rhythm I was in? Yes. But we're gonna get it back. I'm going to show you how disciplined I am. I'm not going to go through the whole monologue again. I almost said diatribe. All right, so let's just jump to what I want to show you tonight. The point I wanted to make is that 6 months into the election of the two mayors that most threaten the St. Joe Company and the big developers, Mayor Michelle Miller, Mexico Beach, defeated Al Cathy, the longtime mayor who owns Ace Hardware. And now we learned that while he was the mayor, he was also a vendor, getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in checks and payments from the city while he was mayor to his store, Al Cathy's Ace Hardware. It's nice work if you can get it, and some people around here can get it, especially in Bay County and Walton County, protected counties. Washington County, not so much. Not so much. Washington County is in trouble because the feds need to show that we're still going after public corruption and we can actually convict somebody. And the poor guys in Washington County, they've been watching the big shots down here, you know, stuffing their pockets full, thinking, man, we could do this too. No, you can't. You don't have the protection that they have here. All right? The St. Joe Company being owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, they got big protection, and they've got to succeed. So you wonder why the local elected officials get away with what they get away with, and then the good people, like Margot, the real whistleblowers, they're at it again. Margot Anderson, the best mayor of Lynn Haven, who was removed by Sheriff Ford and the feds when she blew the whistle. They tried to throw her in prison for 1,050 years, but it didn't work because every single of the 64 counts were complete and utter bullshit. Same with James Finch, the whistleblowers. Now there's a whistleblower in Mexico Beach. Her name is Michelle Miller. And exactly the length of time it takes before you can try to recall a mayor. Now, she hasn't done anything that warrants recall. There's like 7 or 8 things that you have to have done one of these things, but they're just going to say it and probably get the local cartel to back it up. But we'll see what the people think. But WMBB is now engaged in a campaign to defame her in its election interference mode, just like you see on the national stage. The other mayor is the mayor in Panama City who defeated longtime mayor Greg Berdnicki. You understand the St. Joe Company's got some big projects going over there. And when the people said, no, we actually want Doc Rowan instead, now both of them have been in 6 months, and both of them are in 2-year seats. So you're going to hear all kinds of ridiculous accusations against both of them, but it's all an effort to recall them so the St. Joe Company can get on the march again. And WMBB is ready to attack Mayor Doc Rowan next week. Remember, I told you this, okay? I'll be there. Remember, I told you this. Watch WMBB and what they're doing. They did a big story I'm about to show you tonight on how Mexico Beach this is what they said, is recalling Mayor Miller. They're just getting the petition signed. But WMBB says they're recalling her. Do you remember a couple of years ago, we had a petition going, legit petition, through the Supervisor of Elections office to recall Mayor Mark Sheldon, Panama City Beach. Now, it didn't get enough signatures, but WMBB wasn't interested in running a story on that because that affects their pocketbook. Because Mark Sheldon, who owns Panhandle Strong, which is a nonprofit started right after Hurricane Michael, ask yourself what Panhandle Strong, the nonprofit, what do they do? Well, I suspect they pay WMBB to run hit pieces on people they don't like. What makes you think that, Bernie? Why do you think Tom Lewis, the news director, Hugh and Lewis in the News, why do you think that he would have anything to do with Panhandle Strong, Mark Sheldon's nonprofit?
In Panama City Beach, I'm Tom Lewis, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
I don't know. WMBB hates you. They can't stand the people. I cannot believe that. I just can't believe they would engage in pumping just toxic propaganda into its own community. But I shouldn't be surprised, though, for a lot of reasons. One, as I say often, if you look throughout history, I learned this from Miss Sarah Moon, by the way, the brains behind the outfit. I'm just the arm candy. Now, she says, if you look throughout history, it's usually your own people who screw you over. It's your own people who screw you over the most. It's our own people here. You take any incident throughout history, it's often your own people who screw you over the most. And that's certainly the truth here. All right, let me show you the first story. This is on, I think it's 2 posts down on this page, but here we go. All right. You're not going to believe this. What I'm going to show you, this is the current city attorney in Mexico Beach. All right. That's Clint McCahill. That's him in his mugshot in 2018, and that's him now on the right. He's the city attorney. Now, what was he arrested for? This was in 2018. There's a News Herald. You can find this. His name is Clint McCahill. Charged with battery and felony burglary. This is the current city attorney in Mexico Beach. And some people are saying that he helped craft the recall petition. The attorney for Mexico Beach. He certainly has a conflict of interest against Mayor Michelle Miller. There's no doubt about that. Well, how do you know, Bernie? Because when state attorney Larry Bassford last year, see, she used to be on the planning board before she upset everybody, shook up the world like Cassius Clay, and defeated Al Cathy in April. Last year, she was on the planning and zoning board. And she said, I'm going to run for mayor. And so, of course, as par for the course, the state attorney's office, Larry Bassford, or this time it was Larry Bassford, not Sheriff Ford, we got a candidate we don't want, charge him. So the state attorney's office charged her and a few others on the planning board with a sunshine violation. They wanted to destroy her and ruin her chances to be the mayor. Well, it didn't work. Of course, the charges were bogus. They had to drop them, and she won. And here they are trying to recall her. And one of the people who testified against her to Larry Bassford, the state attorney's office, was Clint McCahill, this guy. The sitting city attorney, who last year said that the mayor's the CEO and the CFO, and last year wrote an ordinance to give him a raise. But now that Michelle Miller is the mayor, this city attorney right here, Clint McCahill, he says that the mayor is not the CFO and the CEO. That was just last year and every year before that. I'm not joking. But now what happened here? So I'm going to read the story to you. So in 2018, he was fired as the city attorney in Port St. Joe because he was charged with battery and felony burglary. And people are saying that, well, he certainly has been conspiring against Mayor Miller, which I consider a bar violation, but it would certainly be one if it could be shown that he's actively crafting language or any part of the recall petition against the mayor. All right, let's take a look at, so you can see this, right? Let's read the actual story. What the hell did he do, Bernie? Let's look at it. All right. So this is the News Herald story. According to the Gulf County Sheriff's Office, a deputy responded, this is 2018, just before 10 p.m. Saturday to a commercial office building that also contains McCahill's apartment unit. Keith Jones, the victim, Keith Jones, who said he sometimes sleeps in the building office, told the sheriff's officials that McCahill, the attorney, and his girlfriend entered the building. McCahill became upset about a bag of Jones's belongings in the hallway. And when Clint gets upset, you better watch out. The attorney. The victim, Jones, said the two began arguing, and because he feared the altercation would turn physical because of McCahill's yelling and level of intoxication, he went into his office, closed the door, and turned on his phone video recorder. Well, damn. Clint McCahill was pissed. You got some belongings out here, pal. I'm here with my girlfriend. And so what happened then? Jeez. The guy runs into his own office, and he closed the door, and Clint's outside screaming, evidently. And so the guy turns on his phone recorder as evidence. All right. According to the sheriff's office, the video shows McCahill, the city attorney in Mexico Beach right now, outside the victim's door saying, "This is going down. Me and Keith tonight. This is going down." He's pissed, McCahill. Several times, then walking out of view. Then city attorney McCahill reportedly left his apartment through the balcony. He knows through the balcony and forced his way into the side door of the victim's office. The men exchanged blows. You saw the mugshot of McCahill. McCahill says, "You should see the other guy." McCahill looks like a tough dude. The victim sustained a small abrasion under his left eye, redness under the left side of his chin, and bruising on the right elbow before he was able to lock McCahill out again. Oh, wow. McCahill's not a little dude. I mean, geez, Jones, you're a pretty tough guy if you were able to shove him back out and give him a gash on his forehead. Wow. The responding deputy noted that city attorney McCahill appeared to be intoxicated, slurring his speech and swaying back and forth while talking. Those are called clues. That's the city attorney right now in Mexico Beach, who testified against Michelle Miller last year, said that she had committed a sunshine violation as a planning and zoning board member. And of course, that was another bogus case. Oh, the state attorney's office, Larry Bassford, as often happens with this state attorney's office, dropped the charges. Okay, so he was not, I want to make it clear, McCahill, city attorney McCahill, what we just described can all be true, and it can also be true that the state attorney's office dropped it, but they certainly dropped it. And the mugshot looks like there was indeed a scuffle, and evidently there's a video. It might be public record if you want to look it up. This all happened in 2018. You say, Bernie, that's a long time ago. You know, he's not like that anymore. Okay. Anyway, so let's see let me show you now what WMBB is reporting. They are reporting tonight. If you're you watch the news and you don't catch this show and you just watch like WMBB, you're going to think that Michelle Miller is being recalled. Because why? because that's what they say. That's what they report in the story. All right, I'm going to show you that story in just a moment.
When your life is on the line, hire the lawyer who lives in our community, works in our community, and worships in our community. I'm El Saleen, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. All right, let's take a look at the story on WMBB tonight. You're not going to believe this. All right. Tell us what's going on, WMBB.
Of Mexico Beach residents signed a petition to recall Mayor Michelle Miller.
In the petition, the committee members claim that Michelle Miller violated the Sunshine Law and exceeded her authority as Mexico Beach's mayor. News 13's Courtney Evans tells us the lawsuit Miller filed against the city has made residents angry.
Okay, I want you to hear this. Did you hear what Tom Lewis just said? He just said that the recall petition, which is simply an accusation by the local cartel, is that she violated the Sunshine Law. But what I'm going to show you after this news story is the lawsuit filed by Mayor Miller that outlines the actual violations of the city charter. See, I anticipate there's going to be an evidentiary hearing soon in front of a judge where actual violations of the Sunshine Law are going to be discussed under oath. All right, I'll show it to you. I'll show you the lawsuit here in a minute. The city's response, by the way, the city of Mexico Beach, their response is they don't deny it. Their affirmative defense is, they didn't file the paperwork properly. That's the city of Mexico Beach's defense from keeping the financial records from her as mayor. All right, she already found hundreds of thousands of dollars that Al Cathy got, the former mayor. They don't want her getting any more. And violating the charter left and right. But WMBB and these hacks are saying this. Listen close to this.
Committee members.
And by the way, please remember this. They are gathering the signatures required to turn in to the supervisor of elections office. Then they have to file. Then Michelle Miller has time to respond. Then these people have to gain even more signatures and tell everybody her response before they even have a chance to put it on a recall for people to vote for. This is a process that just started. But I want you to listen to how they describe this. They act like she's being recalled.
There's a claim that Michelle Miller violated the Sunshine Law and exceeded her authority as Mexico Beach's mayor. News 13's Courtney Evans tells us the lawsuit Miller filed against the city has made residents angry.
Mexico Beach Mayor Michelle Miller is being recalled by residents. Committee Treasurer Mitch Coleman says the idea to recall Miller started after she sued the city council.
She said it was not going to cost the city or the taxpayers a dime, not 1 cent. That was her quote. Within a week after that announcement, the city's insurer said, we're not going to pay for a lawsuit. We can't do that. So right then we knew it was on the taxpayers. And she has refused to back away.
Monday night, about 100 residents stopped by Sunset Park to sign the petition. One resident saying she is tired of the way Miller has treated city employees.
All I know is she keeps attacking our city employees.
I want you to listen to this too, because this is a lot. Like it's kind of like, it's really weird because there's like this script, this skit that these people are putting on, and one of the accusations is that Mayor Miller is mistreating the employees, which is. I mean, I've read you under oath. The former finance director said that that's not so. It's just it's like crazy, man. It's like these people have all these things that they say. They're gonna have to eventually say it under oath, which is fantastic. But I want you to hear what this lady says they're going to do at the next meeting. They say they're just going to disrupt the next meeting and shout her down, and no matter what. So, look, I want to say this. Please hear this. Maybe the most important thing of the night, because this process is just underway. Thursday, there is a meeting in Mexico Beach, a city council meeting. Residents are threatening to just stand up and shout her down no matter what she says or does as the mayor of Mexico Beach. Do you know who the people are that are in charge of making sure that they have what do they say? That there's not a disruption of government proceedings? I think they call that an insurrection, right, these days. It's the sheriff's office. Sheriff Tommy Ford. His deputy's in there. And his deputy evidently is good buddies with all these people. So if they do what this lady says they're going to do, if they just shout, to hell with you ladies, shout her down, you don't belong here. When she as the mayor calls on the Bay County Sheriff's Office, Tommy Ford's office, to maintain order in the meeting. I've already seen 75-year-old men square off against each other, almost come to blows. Do you know how bad somebody could get hurt in this situation? Sheriff Tommy Ford is on notice. If you know him, I used to know him before he surrounded my home, but if he was, they were mad at me. So they searched my backyard for 8 minutes without a warrant, but I don't want to get into that right now. But you might want to notify Sheriff Tommy Ford that, hey, man, they're talking about an insurrection. They're talking about standing up and shouting the mayor down. When she says, can you please remove these people to your officer, Sheriff Ford, are you going to maintain order or are you going to let this happen? It's going to be interesting because so far, the sheriff's office has not done that. They've allowed chaos and mayhem. It's the only city they do not, if they are there. Okay, the county has the sheriff's office. There are a couple of cities that have the sheriff's office. Some of the cities have their own police officers, depending on if it's incorporated or unincorporated. But in all the cases, everywhere else, if the chairman of the meeting says, we need order, can you remove this person who's acting disorderly? There's no questions asked. But the sheriff's office has defied Mayor Miller. The sheriff's office has defied her in the meetings as the chairman of the meeting. What is Sheriff Ford going to do Thursday? Here, listen what they're threatening to do.
And I'm not going to stand for it anymore. I'm over it. I think every time she does that in the next meeting, we're all just going to stand up and tell her to cease and desist, just like she told our council members.
A former city council member says he signed the petition because he is against Miller's form of leadership.
Hadn't been good. It's destroying our city. It's tearing it down. We're a bunch of good people, and we're just trying to get it back now.
The committee has hired an attorney to assist them during the recall process. Some community members are donating money to help cover the legal fees.
It's quite comprehensive. It requires meeting certain deadlines and making sure you do things correctly because there will be an audit of everything that we do. So it's important, if we want to be successful in this, is to get an attorney's advice.
Courtney Evans reporting. Former Mayor Al Cathy was one of the people that signed the petition today. To move on to the next step, they'll need at least 10% of the registered voters in Mexico Beach to sign that petition. And Mayor Miller declined to comment on the recall effort.
Well, and that's smart. You know why, Tom Lewis? Because she's got a lawsuit against the city, and let's just let everybody do it at the evidentiary hearing. The lawsuit is that these commissioners, especially Adrian Welly, Jerry Smith, and Richard Wolf, and the city attorney who was arrested for He attacked a man in his own office. He broke into the guy's office and attacked him. It was battery and felony burglary. Of course, Larry Bassford said he dropped the case. The state attorney, of course, dropped the case. But this is crazy as shit. I have to remind, like, I got to remember, I live in a world and a time where people are acting like this is normal. The two mayors who upset the longtime mayors, Doc Rowan in Panama City and Michelle Miller in Mexico Beach, are now facing the wrath because it's exactly 6 months. So now the establishment can accuse them of something and try to recall them. The two whistleblowers, basically. It's unbelievable that how can a sheriff watch this happen? How can the FBI, everybody know? He just talked to, Tom Lewis just said in their effort to defame Mayor Miller, saying that she's being recalled, encouraging people to go sign this. That's what this is all about. It's an advertisement. They didn't do this when Mayor Sheldon was being recalled, the process of getting signatures, which is all this is right now. Unbelievable. It blows my mind, the level of coordination and corruptness. Like when the feds told a judge in 2021 that Bay County is more corrupt than New Orleans and New Jersey, they weren't lying. I just don't know why they haven't done anything about it. I mean, you see this happen. We have actually shown crimes take place during meetings. Mayor Mike Thomas in 2019 or so was talking to Derwin White, was supposed to be the target of the FBI investigation and Sheriff Ford's investigation. Mayor Mike Thomas, Panama City Beach, made a deal when he was the fifth and deciding vote. Before he voted, he traded a road for a vote on camera. Sheriff Tommy Ford allowed that crime to happen. The FBI allowed the crime to happen. Bernie, how do you know it was a crime? Well, 20 minutes earlier, the mayor said it would be a crime to vote based on whether or not there'd be a road. He and Councilman McConnell said that. And then during the same agenda item, when he was the deciding vote, Mayor Thomas said, "Merry Christmas." Tapped his belly, asked Derwin White, "You going to build a road?" "Yeah, we'll be." And Robert Carroll was sitting there too, by the way. Commissioner Robert Carroll is an engineer, see? He was the engineer with Derwin White. Do you hear me? The late Derwin White of GAC Contracting, he died in August of 2021. 5 days later, Sheriff Ford and the feds raided GAC Contracting, collected a treasure trove of evidence, and then told Federal Judge Mark Walker, I was in the courtroom, that all the evidence has just been sitting in boxes. To which Judge Walker said, "I didn't know the FBI just put corruption in boxes. That's all they do. That's all they've done. Haven't gone through it." At least I said they hadn't really. I've gone through a lot of it, but Commissioner Robert Carroll and Derwin White were in the front row, and Mayor Thomas made a deal with them for a vote on video. And now we see similar kind of stuff going on, and I'm looking around going, we don't have anybody who will enforce this. Maybe they can just shout her down. Maybe Sheriff Ford's office and them are going to plant fake invoices on her too, like they did in the ECS office the day before the search warrant. I don't know. Actually, I don't think so. I actually think that I actually think that this is an act of desperation, because if Mayor Miller succeeds in the lawsuit that simply tells the commissioners that they got to stop violating the city charter and they have to abide by the city charter, that's all her lawsuit says. And it's asking for a judge to tell them to do so. That's it. But in order for a judge to make that decision, the judge might need to have an evidentiary hearing. So let's read what the lawsuit itself says. How about that? All right. This is quickly approaching now, okay? I'm going to find it for you and read it to you right now.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan can make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at pcairrepair.com. All right, let's look at the lawsuit. You can find yourself at, here it is, at Bay County Clerk of Court. It is Miller, Michelle versus, and it's 1L with Michelle, versus the city of Mexico Beach. Let's take a look at this amended complaint. Oh, look at this. I've got, it says access denied. But that only means that I have to refresh this. So it's worth doing. And you're going to hear me typing right now. But let's, oh, I'm not a robot. All right, let's see if they believe me. They believe me. I tricked them again. All right, now we've got to search. See, all right, if you're watching, you'll see how to do this. Miller, Michelle, and all right, let me go back here, right here. Miller, Michelle. I'm not a robot. All right, they believe me again. Here we go. There it is. That's how you find it. Now let's read it. All right, so we're going to look at the 9-page first amended complaint. There it is. Oh, my goodness. All right, this is what's got them freaked out so much. Let me close this out and reopen it, and I'll be reading it right now. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there it is. Can you see this? All right, so it's Miller, Michelle versus City of Mexico Beach, first amended petition for writ of mandamus, which basically says you have to do the right thing and follow the city charter, and an declaratory and injunctive relief, which means the injunction would be to stop doing the wrong thing. The writ would be to start doing the right thing. Follow the city charter and quit violating the city charter. All right, let's read it. This is all the jurisdiction stuff. The city is a mayor-council form of government, which is not a weak mayor form of government, by the way. The mayoral duties are chief elected administrative and fiscal official for the city, according to the charter. We know all this. All right. Beginning on or around April 28, 2023, when she was elected, the mayor requested to have access to the city's financial records, including but not limited to accounts payable, accounts receivable, invoices, and purchase orders. As of the date of this filing, respondent, the city, through Chris Hubbard, who purports to be the city's administrator and is neither a city contract employee, has denied the mayor access. So right now you've got the city administrator denying access. Who had access before that? His girlfriend. His girlfriend was the accountant. So either she has full access or or Chris Hubbard, who they installed, has full access, but not the CFO of the city. You see why they're freaking out? Additionally, the city is claiming that the mayor does not have a right to the records and declared that the city administrator is in control. This is in violation of city charter. And then it talks about the city administrator was created back in 2005 or so. I think it was 2005 or so. And what the duties would be, which basically that ordinance they created really, I believe, is in conflict with the charter, and they're asking the judge to look at that. And so now you've got the commissioners Welly, Iron Fist Wolf, and Jerry Bad Liability Smith. Now they're all saying, along with the city attorney who got arrested for burglary and felony battery in 2018, these guys are all saying, we'll just change. We'll get a charter committee together and we'll change the charter. My question is, why do you need to change the charter if the charter doesn't currently say that she's the CFO? Why would you need to change it? These people are honestly pretty dumb too, by the way. They're really dumb people. I'm not, by the way, Clint McCahill's not dumb. I used to think attorneys were dumb. I no longer think that. If you can pass the LSAT, which is a logic test to get into law school, I promise you it's a lot harder than you think. Lawyers are not dumb. They're smart. They're smarter than I am. And I'm not joking. But which is how I know when someone's being dishonest. Like, right? McHale knows this. He's just being dishonest as all get out. He's smarter than I am. And last year he agreed with me. He's just being dishonest. All right. So let's get to the important stuff. The charter provides a specific provision that the mayor will be the chief elected administrator, of course. Okay, so we know this stuff, right? The mayor-council form of government has a well-known meaning in the state. While it's true that the details of a mayor-council form of government may vary from city to city, as opposed to a council manager form of government like Panama City, Lynn Haven, Panama City Beach, this is more of a strong mayor form. The distinction and a pure council form of government is clear. In other words, the distinctions are clear. They all know it. And it involves a mayor having additional authority to act compared to other individual members. That's according to case law. The mayor has been damaged by the city usurping her authority as mayor and breaching the public trust in the council. The mayor is concerned about her obligation to ensure that the city is financially responsible and that the funds are appropriately spent. We now know hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent at Al Cathy, the former mayor's Ace Hardware, while he was the mayor. We'd like to see what else is in there. She has been thwarted in that regard, which is her duty under the charter. Additionally, the city is currently in non-compliance. You ready for this? Oh, my God. The people trying to recall Mayor Miller, you understand, the people trying to recall her are violating Florida statute because they're so late on their audit, on their financial audit. And they're now going to be 2 years late on their financial audit. These are the people saying we need to either have Chris Hubbard or his girlfriend guarding the hen house. The CFO cannot have full access to the records. All right, so I'll show you what this lawsuit's calling for. Let's cut to the chase. All right, so they're behind on the audit, blah, blah, blah. The mayor has no other legal remedy. Clearly, the sheriff's office isn't going to do the right thing. The FBI, I don't know what the hell they're up to. All right. As of the date of this filing, a reasonable time had elapsed for the city to respond to the mayor's request for access to records, but has failed to do so. All right, here we go. The mayor is entitled to an injunction that prevents the city from violating the city charter. The mayor is entitled to an injunction that prevents the city from violating the city's charter in the future. And here's what they're asking for. All right, this is what the lawsuit calls for. A writ of mandamus, do the right thing, requiring a proper response to the mayor's request and requiring the respondent to allow the mayor full access to the records. A declaratory judgment finding that the mayor is, as it says in the charter, the chief elected administrative and fiscal officer for the city. We need a judge to say that because they're just going to break the law until somebody stops them. And this specific authority governs over the general requirement that the powers and duties of the mayor shall be conferred by state laws, this charter, and the city council. In that order, by the way, according to the rules of construction. C, are you ready for this? A declaratory judgment requiring the city not to interfere with the mayor's duties as administrative and fiscal officer. D, an injunction that prevents the city from violating the city charter. Here's where it's starting to get serious now. Removal of Chris Hubbard from his position as it infringes on the mayor's responsibilities as outlined herein. Costs, of course, reasonable attorney's fees. She's not asking for any damages. And here is the big one. Can you read that? Here, let me make it big so we can all see. This is the good one here. Oh, what does that say? Can you read that? An immediate evidentiary hearing to address the above. Now, what happens at an evidentiary hearing? Well, let me tell you, since I've been to a few of them, you know, I'm not an attorney, but you can call me Bernie the attorney if you want to. I don't want to. All right, you don't have to. Jeez, it's a free country. It's a free country. Oh, man, things I used to say as a kid that I don't say anymore. It's a free country. Or this was another one. Everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it. That used to be a joke. Now, climate change, existential threat, tax the ever-living out of everybody. We're going to do something about it. What was I talking about? Oh, evidentiary hearings. So the lawsuit's calling for an immediate evidentiary hearing where Mayor Miller and her attorney, Marie Maddox, will call subpoena, I guess, whoever they want, council members, maybe the city attorney, Clint McCahill. I mean, if he's free, you know, get him in here, put him under oath, and ask him what the hell's really going on. What were you guys doing last year? Who's got the key to the hen house? All this stuff. Under oath. Now, the city's, their only defense, the city's only defense has been, they didn't file the paperwork properly for this lawsuit. They didn't deny any of it. They just didn't file the paper. It was like one page. All right, we'll see. Maybe the judge throws it out and said, they didn't file it properly. Or maybe somebody will actually do something to the commissioners and the city attorney who are brazenly violating the law, and their supporters who went on WMBB today, the propaganda arm of the cartel, saying, the supporters saying, hell, we might just jump up and shout her down on Thursday. Okay, Sheriff Ford, ball's in your court. You guys are the ones who are supposed to respond to the chairman. Now, I know the sheriff's office very well, and here's what they're doing right now. They're saying, "Hey, Waylon Tom, their attorney. Is there any way? Is there any state statute? Is there any a case law where we don't have to do what that broad says?" I promise you, this is what they're doing. They've never done. Any other chairman in any other place that they're in the meetings, if the chairman says, "Hey, this person's got to go," because they're being unreasonable. They're disrupting the government proceeding, which they call an insurrection in Washington. I guarantee you the sheriff's office right now is asking their attorneys, is there any way that we can get around having to enforce this? I mean, do we really have to do what this broad says just because she's the mayor? I guarantee you this is what they're doing. Look up some case law, find a way around it. Okay? I want you to. I want you all to do all this stupid ass shit more and more so that we can get right to, it's late, so I'm just going to, since it's a late night show, the kids are in bed. Stupid ass shit so that we can, is this thing on? So that we can get to an evidentiary hearing and find out who's doing what, when, behind the scenes. Let's look at some emails and text messages. Let's look at some testimony. Let's find out what's the heck's going on around here. That's what I want. How about you? Yeah, it's crazy in Mexico Beach. It is crazy in Bay County. And it's been crazy for so long. The gaslighters want us to think this is normal. Bernie, it's normal that last year the mayor was the CFO. This year the mayor's not. It's normal that whistleblowers get arrested or attacked. It's normal that the news is working. It's normal that WMBB is conspiring in a scheme to undermine the two mayors who upset the incumbent mayors, Al Cathy and Greg Brudnicki. Right now, WMBB and the local cartel are conspiring to destroy Doc Rowan in Panama City and Michelle Miller in Mexico Beach because those two are not the St. Joe BlackRock's choice for those positions. They threaten people who will not be threatened. Capiche? And there's nobody, Homeland Security, there's nobody, the FBI is not going to do anything about it. There's nobody, Homeland Security, that's going to do a thing about it. So you can listen to Thompson rant and rave with his misinformation and disinformation. Retarded, man. Stupidest people I ever saw. My misinformation, disinformation. They think they're real smart. Commissioner Welly thinks he's really smart. Hey, just in case anybody is looking into things, if you want to cut to the chase and save some time, go talk to Adrian Welly. He's a commissioner. 10 years ago, he was the finance director. He knows more about the city's finances than anybody. I know this because he says so over and over. Adrian Welly knows. That might be a good place to start. I mean, if anybody's going to, any of the gaslighters want to, it's gaslighting all the way around. We have to act like this is normal. This is insane. Don't ever think it's normal. Right? Never let them tell you it's no. You guys, we're not crazy. And, honestly, you're not crazy either. I was going to say we're not crazy. You're crazy. No, you're not crazy. Just corrupt as all get out. I'll tell you who else is corrupt. Is this guy. Mayor Mark Sheldon is pushing for a $10 million pedestrian bridge to connect Frank Brown Park to Aaron Besant Park. It's great for music festivals. It's the city's #1 priority this year. They've got a bunch of projects, and they plan to spend $236 million. 2 years ago, the budget for the city was only $42 million. That's why locals are paying so much more in assessments to the city. Mayor Sheldon says it's worth it. After all, he owns Gulf Coast Jam. The city's #1 priority will benefit his music festivals. He wants more state and federal grant money as a slush fund.
These are significant projects that will make a huge difference in our community. The first is to pursue any available state aid for the planning, design, and environmental studies related to a pedestrian bridge connecting Aaron Besant Park and Frank Brown Park. This walkover would link these two public parks and provide a safer avenue for our residents.
Yeah, is this about safety? All right, I've been at this too long tonight. I mean, take a look at some of this stuff and hold on to your horses because the lawsuit's moving along. And anybody Mexico Beach, the people in Mexico Beach who are asking you to sign this petition and accusing Mayor Miller of violating the city charter, they are accusing her of doing exactly what they're doing. And we'll see if anybody holds them accountable. I'm going to bet they will. I'm going to bet Mexico Beach is held accountable. All right, I want to thank, of course, the Unknown Patriot for your support. And also, those of you who throw a tip in the tip jar every month, as little as $5 a month. It matters. Crowdfunding is how I make this happen. The best $5 you can spend on the internet every month. You know it's true. You know it's true. But it sure helps. Bernie, patreon.com/Bernie Thompson, patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It's anonymous. It's easy, and you can quit at any time. All right, that's enough. Is that enough for tonight? I'll see you soon.